Alright, what's happening, everybody? Today we're going to be looking at the different wonders in 7 Wonders Duel. Today we're just going to be covering the base game, and we're going to be ranking them from S tier to D tier of their power levels. Which ones are the best? Alright, so we're going to be covering the base game, so that means that none of this, the Sanctuary or the Divine Theater from Pantheon or any of the other ones from any other expansions that are out there. We're just really going to start with the Temple of Artemis, and this should help those out there who are focused on winning in the arena mode, because as of now, in the arena mode, you only can play the base game. There's no expansions of Agora or Pantheon. With that, let's dive in. The Temple of Artemis, I would rank the Temple of Artemis as an S tier. Like right off the bat, that's where I'm going to put it. So, bam, it's just the best, right? Get an extra turn and 12 coins, so you can use that extra turn to do whatever you want with, because you won't be strapped for coins, that's for sure. Very powerful card and very cheap. I mean, you look at the cost right there. Like that's like wood, stone, glass, and papyrus. Very cheap. You could get it early and secure yourself a win. Next up, we have the Piraeus, actually. So Piraeus, that's going to also be an S tier as well. So anything that's going to help your economy and give you an extra turn and is cheap, I like it. So you look, there's wood, stone, and brick. What do you see there? It doesn't cost any of the manufactured resources. In fact, it actually grants you manufactured resources with it. So, and on top of that, it gives you 2 points. So that's the cherry on top. It's the only S tier that's going to give you points. From here on out, we're going to do A tier and below. Next up, if I've got my choice and it's not one of these two, I'm going to pick the Hanging Gardens. Check this out. The Hanging Gardens is going to give you 6 coins, so pretty good, and 3 points. So a little bit of both. You're going to get the points and the coins, so you should be able to buy whatever you want with that extra turn. Next, we are going to go through the Appian Way, and that right there, that's going to steal 3 coins from your opponent, give you 3 coins. Well, destroy 3 coins of your opponent and give you 3 coins. If they don't have 3 coins, then this wonder doesn't have its full ability, because if they have 0 coins, you just gain 3 coins. It's not that great. But taking away those 3 coins from your opponent is really powerful, and I'm going to put that in A tier as well, just right underneath the Hanging Gardens. The only problem is it's more expensive than the Hanging Gardens. And with only 3 coins, you might not be able to get what you want. But with making your opponent not being able to get what they want on their next turn, it could limit your opponent quite a bit and make it so that they cannot pull off the strategy that they are trying to go for. Next up, we have the Sphinx. This is an all-in on points and an extra turn. It even uses glass, which is a little more important for a point strategy. So really, it's kind of doubling down on that points and giving you that extra turn. So if you know that you are evenly matched with an opponent and you feel like if either you zigs for military or zags for science, and you feel like maybe it's just going to come down to points for the most part, especially if you know how each other plays, the Sphinx is actually going to be a really good one. But if you're just playing normal in the arena, I would say this is the worst of the extra turns. I would put it down in B tier, but I think we'll keep it at A tier. Just all the extra turns are so much the better than the other wonders without extra turns, unless you find a way to give those wonders extra turns. For instance, using a progress token. Speaking of progress tokens, the Great Library, actually, it's kind of expensive, but it gives you a progress token, 1 of 3, so it's random. It's kind of you hopefully get lucky. But if you are trying to go for a science strategy and you do not see law out there as your first 5 tokens, Great Library is one you should be wary of, whether your opponent grabs it or you grab it. Science strategy is still possible to go for without getting all the 6 symbols on the cards. That 7th symbol, the law token, could be yours, and you could use that as the 6 symbols that are required to win. In addition, there's a couple other strategies you can do with it. If you don't see strategy out there, the military strategy token, then you can try to push a little bit in military or grab the Great Library early game and see what you get. You may even get the progress token that allows you to give all of these other wonders that don't have extra turns an extra turn. Theology. So next up, the only issue is this one costs 3 wood, so quite a lot, and then also 2 manufactured goods. So next up, we'll go to the Statue of Zeus. Now the Statue of Zeus, this one is a double papyrus. We talked about a double glass earlier. The double papyrus is kind of a weirder one. You can sometimes get around using papyrus with the linking symbols. There's different costs to each of the cards, and you can actually boom. So I've covered everything, including my face, unfortunately, but we can fix that here. Okay. All right. So we're looking at right now the different costs of the different cards, and I just wanted to show you that you can get around papyrus. You see with altar, you can not have to worry about papyrus with the temple, and with with some of these others, you can get around using papyrus. So yeah, I mean, take it as you will, but papyrus is one that is important to grab for this wonder early game. If you want to stop your opponent with their economy, so try to hurt their economy a little bit, then you're going to want to grab the papyrus really early. Sphinx is a little different. You want to use extra turns late game, and having 2 glass, you can find a way to get that in age 2. Don't have to rush for it, but you really want to stop your opponent from using the brown cards that they've gotten. And so as soon as they build a really good one, you destroy it, and then they can't use that the rest of the game. So this is one you want to build earlier, and for that reason, you want to secure papyrus earlier. So it's very situational, and it's very expensive because of the 2 papyrus. Now, I'm just going to skip and put the Great Lighthouse in here as D tier, because it is kind of the same story. You want to grab papyrus really early. That's just how I'm feeling. I want to do this tier list and to remind everyone that, hey, there's 2 wonders out there that you want to make sure you grab papyrus in age 1 really quickly. And you don't want to have both of these wonders and have somebody steal papyrus from you, because both of these wonders you do want to build earlier. Great Lighthouse, actually, I'll talk about it now. It's going to give you 4 points and one of the brown resources each time you need to build something. So pick whichever one you need, and it helps your economy not be weak in one situation, one brick, stone, or wood. Kind of how Piraeus would do it, but Piraeus gives an extra turn, so that one's just hard in itself to build, because you don't know if you want to build it late game and use that extra turn. Sometimes it's your only extra turn, but at the same time, you do want to build that one earlier because it gives you a manufactured resource, which all the other wonders are going to use a manufactured resource. So I would say Piraeus, Great Lighthouse, and the Statue of Zeus are ones you're going to be wanting to build early game. Next up, not too early though, with these 2 military ones, the Statue of Zeus and Circus Maximus, you want to build, if you build it too early in age 1, you're going to give the extra turn that can happen between age 1 and age 2. The person who is losing in military gets to choose who goes first in the next age, essentially making that person have an extra turn with that choice. So yeah, you don't want to build it in age 1, but early age 2 for both of these. So Circus Maximus, I'll also put that in C tier. Put it a little higher because look, the cost is not that hard to get. And you can kill off a manufactured resource, and there's only 4 of them in the game. So there are 2 ways around it. There's the the customs house, which is going to cost 4 coins, and then there's another one that costs 3 coins in brick that you can find a way around it to be able to get. So yeah, they have the armory. Sorry, no. Where we got the forum is the 3 coins and the brick, if you can see that, and the customs house is 4 coins. So if your opponent has the coins to spend, then they can spend them. It'll hurt their economy just a little bit, but then it'll help it later on by having the manufactured resources. And that's a way you can get around the Circus Maximus's damaging effects of destroying a manufactured resource. So those 2 cards are important if you're fighting against the Circus Maximus, which I tend to do. But I will grab it if I need it. And but it's not going to be my first choice. I'm putting that in C tier along with the statue of Zeus. Now, running through, we got the Colossus, which is going to be cheaper than the Great Library, which would be 2 manufactured resources and a bunch of wood. This is going to be a bunch of brick, but only 1 of the manufactured resources, the glass. I'm going to put that in C tier. It gives you 2 military, which don't underestimate that. That can be really crucial and help you win the game. And then we got 2 more wonders here. We got the Mausoleum, which, well, that's going to be really expensive, having 2 manufactured resources, 2 of the same common resources, brick. So whenever you have 2 of the same, it's going to be expensive. And then it's got a papyrus as well. So that one, very hard to pull off, but it's going to give you a card from the discard pile, which towards the end of the game, that 3rd age, you may be able to have a lot of options there. This is very good for a science strategy, so if you see law out there, Mausoleum may be the better option for going for a science strategy. If you don't see law out there, go for the Great Library. But I'm putting Mausoleum in the B tier above these military wonders just because of that special effect. It's extremely expensive, but if you need to grab that final law symbol, especially we're talking base game, Mausoleum does shine quite a bit. And then finally we have the pyramids. Now the pyramids is going to be very expensive, just like the Colossus was 3 of a common resource. This is 3 stone, and it's a papyrus instead of glass. So papyrus, that's one that if you have either of these 2 wonders, you're going to want to grab the papyrus early. So if you also have pyramids, then that's just really need to grab papyrus. But a lot of times I feel like if you see the game not going to go in a point way, either you're pushing science or they're pushing science, you don't really need 9 points. Because if they're pushing science and pushing military and then they're not focused on points, maybe you've got them already you got the game in the bag and you don't need to build the pyramids. So I'm going to put it in D tier because it is often the wonder that gets left unbuilt. However, in a recent game I did play, somebody rushed the pyramids and snuffed out a science victory for me, so I ended up needing to double down on points, and they won by 9 points. So I was like, oh, if I had rushed to my 4th wonder and stopped them from building the pyramids, because they did build the pyramids 4th, then I could have actually tied up the game and maybe won. So that is kind of an interesting thing about it. At the very end of the game, the pyramids will shine with 9 extra points. But there's always the chance you may not have even needed it. Alright, so with that, all of these wonders are really important because they can cover up a card. And the extra turns you should really pay close attention to while playing the game. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this quick little video about the different wonders. And keep playing this wonderful game, 7 Wonders Duel.